Sex Bob, and we're here to make you think about death and get sad and stuff.
Right, chaps, so let's get on with the building of one of these. Now, when you order these, you can either order just this kit, or you can order the whole thing. The whole thing includes a core and the blank kit. This is the version 2 kit. I never had a version 1, so I don't know what the difference is. So you're going to have to bear with. So, let's take this out of here. So there's your Thunderbee core and your pin and such. One of the first things that you're going to want to do is get your tools together. So for this, all you're going to need is a set of Allen keys, a pair of pliers, some super glue, some Loctite, and a set of calipers. This is technically optional, but I wouldn't not do it with calipers. That just lets me see how far into the firing, how far out, sorry, I'm setting the firing pin. So the Thunderbee core, and then this kit comes with the body. I'll just put these off to one side so they're out of the way. Get in there, you shitbag. So the body comes with a little bag of accessories. This is all your screws and stuff that you need to put this into this. You should have 4 small set screws that go in these holes around the circumference. Then you should have your blank adapter holder that goes into this portion. And then you should have your firing pin unit that replaces the centre portion of this. So to begin, I'm going to pin the hammer back so it's out of my way, like so. He says, get in there, you bugger. Right. Now, I had a version here. Right, so when you unthread these from the grenades, by the way, you are unthreading this portion of it, not this portion of it. This portion needs to be far enough down to where it will catch on the grub screws. So what I like to do with these is, just in case that grub screw hasn't totally got this knurled collar, I like to put a little bit of Loctite on that. This is green Loctite. I can't remember what strength it is. I think this might be the permanent or the semi-permanent one. Any Loctite for this part will be absolutely fine. It won't hurt you. So that needs to come out. Just go off to one side. Yeah, any Loctite should do. Just not the low strength stuff. If I can get the Loctite to come out of the bugger. So just a dab will do you. You don't need shitloads of it. That's more than enough. And then just thread this collar back on. Like so. Just give that a little twist. Right. As far as assembling the head portion of it, I have this little bag of accessories. Just make sure all your bits are there. So you should have one grub screw that has a, I can't zoom you in, but it has a point on one end. That goes with this. That is the black firing pin holder. Then you should have a countersunk screw that goes over here with this. And then you should have 4 small grub screws that will go into the body and lock this into here like so. Right, we'll assemble the firing pin. So for this, I believe it's a 2mm or a 1.5. It might be a 2mm Allen key. Oh, that was a good guess. Right, again with this, I recommend you put a little bit of Loctite just on the threads like so. So you want to thread this in so it's the larger end towards the bottom, so that the point is coming out this way, and that's what will retain it in the grenade. Now this can be a little bit difficult, but it's designed to be that way, so it helps hold it in place. Just as I'm coming out there, pushing some Loctite out, I'll just dab that off from the tail so I can see the firing pin. And then I'll tell you how far I set mine out. Right, that is now, so this is where the calipers come in. So that caliper's zeroed. I'm just going to run the tab end of the caliper down till I hit the back of the grub screw. That is at 6.8 and I want that to be 7. So there we go, now we're at 7mm. Once I've done that, I'm going to take me some super glue and I'm going to put some super glue down the back of this hole. That will lock this firing pin in position so it cannot move. That is important. This is a quite important step actually. I'll just get a pick and make sure it's down in there, or a toothpick or anything. Just make sure that it's into the hole and not just sat up on top, like so. A little bit more. Right, now that's in there, I'll just wipe the excess off. That's the excess gone. Now, this part needs to go in here like so. So the wider the flanged end is what will retain that into the body like so. The next step is to take this countersunk screw. Now, I don't generally Loctite these because if you have any problems, you're going to want to be able to take this out so that you can get to the pin. So I'm just going to get that to that hole. Ooh, if you can do it with his big fat hands. I can't remember if this is a 2mm as well. It is not. This is a 2.5. It is. So you're just going to thread that into there till it starts to become tight. Now, what I do is take a pair of needle nose pliers, just grab the end of the raised portion, and I'm just going to give it ever such a slight little knack. I'm not trying to like make this super taut. I'm just making sure it's tight and it's not going to come out like that. That's your firing pin set up. That's done now. So I would recommend with these not using this until that super glue is fully cured. So at least a couple of hours. The other thing you can do is use PTFE tape. I have done that in the past. I find the PTFE tape gets worn out quite quickly, so you have to replace it. It's much better to just glue them in like this. Next thing we're going to do is thread this portion onto the head of the grenade. I'm just going to pin that hammer back and prime it as if we were going to set it off. Like so. Just bend over that little tab there, as on the last one. Then I'm going to start these little grub screws. Again, a 2mm Allen key into the body. I'm just going to get a couple of threads in just until I see just before it comes out the inside. probably a lot easier to put it on the end of the Allen key to start that in. Now, in order not to cross thread these, if you put it in and just turn left until it clicks, you'll hear like a drop. It will have caught the first thread. That way you won't countersink these, because these are a right bugger to get out if you strip them. You're also not trying to go, thanks Alexa, you're not trying to put tons of torque on these, for the simple fact of like it doesn't need it. You're just going to snug these down more or less, and they will hold as long as they're not loose. So if you go till it's tight and then just give it another half a turn, quarter of a turn, that should be good enough. So now all those 4 are in there. I'm going to take this, the core, and set it into the body of the grenade until the spoon is on top of that magnet. Now I can see now that this spoon needs to be bent a little bit in order to contact that. So I'm just going to do that now. Do that with a pair of pliers. I'm just going to grab spoon here and just give it a bit of a tweak so as it will contact. Like so. Now I can tweak that a little bit more after, but now I know that sits correctly. I'm going to push down on this and take my 2mm Allen key and just snug up the left, the right and the back grub screw. I'm going to go back and just give them a little half a turn of a knack on each one. Again, being careful not to over tighten and strip these out like so. Now I can unthread the head. Drop in that core there, make sure it sits down where it's supposed to. Good. Now we can go and tighten the front screw and give that a little quarter of a turn like so. Just come back and make sure these are all tight, which they are. Lovely, lovely. Right. Now what I do after this is where I say that you don't really need to super torque these. You can use black electrical tape, you can use blue, red, green, purple, whatever colour you want. I just take some electrical tape and just wrap it around the head like so, and all that does is make it more visible when thrown, so you can find it if it's in tall grass or something of that nature. And it also means that if any of these screws start to back out, you won't lose them, which is always a win. You can now thread the head back onto the body. Like so. And that's your job done. That's one grenade ready and primed to go. Just check function, so release it, make sure the spoon sticks, and that when you let the spoon go, it fires. And that's that all done and ready to have an 9mm pack in it and be played with. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, do all that goodness. It helps me get to more people, which is cool. Or don't, and just watch and enjoy it. You know, that's also totally fine and acceptable, and I appreciate you all nonetheless. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one, folks.